So at the end of everything, we have welcome to Nessus is displayed here. Then target, we have example. You could impute one IP address, as you can see here. Then you could impute more than one IP address, or you could put a network or a web page. But we don't need this, so I'm going to cancel this. So we're going to go to new scan. We have host discovery, a simple scan to discover live hosts and open ports. Ping only discovery, a simple scan to discover live hosts with minimal network traffic. We have a full system scan suitable for any host. We have advanced dynamic scan, configure a dynamic plugin scan without recommendation. We have a bunch of scans you can do here. And if you check here, some have this badge means upgrade. So it means you can use the essential version, which is what we have now, to perform this kind of scan. So again, these are under discovery, and here we have vulnerabilities. So this is where we are interested, a full system scan suitable for any host. So I'm going to click on this, and here we need to have a name for what we need to scan. I want to scan Metasploitable. Then description, you could describe whatever you need here. And here we have scan and trash. I'll leave that on scan. Then target IP address, this is required. So I'm going to go check for the IP address of my Metasploitable. So here is my Metasploitable. So I'm going to find my IP address. I'm going to say ifconfig, and here's my IP address, 192.168.198.129. I had to migrate from hard disk drive to NVMe SSD. So upon opening my Metasploitable again, I discovered there's a little change in the IP address. So that's why I had to make this video to show you that my Metasploitable IP address changed here. So it's now 192.168.198.129. So I'm going to head back to Linux, and I'm going to paste that. So this is my Metasploitable. Then don't forget that you can also scan a network. But remember, this version doesn't give us the option to do that. Then you can also specify a range of IP address. So we're done for this. There is option to upload targets in case you want to go with that. So that is for the settings, basic. Then we can go over to schedule. Here, if you need to schedule the scan, you can turn that on here and impute the time. Then we'll go to notifications. Example, notifications will not be sent until your SMTP server is configured. So this is not what we want to do right now. So we'll go next to discovery. Here, scan type, we have port scan, common ports. This is the same thing as what we have in Nmap, whereby the default ports are scanned and the non-useful ones are ignored. Here I want to go with all ports. You can also choose a custom, but here this is okay for us. So this will always test the local Nessus host, use fast network discovery, port scan setting, scan all ports from one to the last one, use net start if credentials are provided, use sync scanner if necessary, ping host using TCP, ARP, ICMP, and that. So we go with all But for any reason you have to stop the configuration and resume at another day, when you come to this place and click on Metasploitable, say configure, are you going to continue from where you left off? So we can continue from discovery now. So the next place we are going to is assessment. So scan type, the default is selected, but we can drop this down, and here we have scan for non-web vulnerabilities, scan for all web vulnerabilities quick, scan for all web vulnerabilities complex. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to go with scan for non-web vulnerabilities. So general settings, avoid potential false alarm, enable CGI scanning. Then for the web applications, start crawling from crawl 1000 pages maximum, travel 6 directories maximum, test for non-vulnerabilities in common use web applications, generic web application test disables. So because of the nature of the report, we're not going to set anything here. We're going to leave it on default. And if we go over to advanced, here is scan type, default, scan low bandwidth linked, custom. We just let it be at default. Performance option, 30 simultaneous hosts maximum, 4 simultaneous check per host maximum, 5-second network read timeout. So we're going to say save, and scan save successfully. So head over to my scans. Now you will discover that nothing is happening until we launch the scan. So I'm going to click on launch, and you can see this running. So we are scanning our Metasploitable. Now during the scan, there's some things you could do. When you click on this, for example, so you'll be able to see the different vulnerabilities here. So we have the low, medium, and high vulnerabilities, but this critical here is the most important one here. You can also come in to this bar and click on it, and it's going to display the scan so far. So far in the scan, we have gotten 6 critical vulnerabilities. This is canonical, Ubuntu Linux SEL. Then we have 2 mixed, and we have 4 high vulnerabilities, and some information disclosure here. You can see that the scan is being updated. So what we can do now is wait for the scan to finish. So I will just click on go back, and it's still running. So let's wait and see the final outcome of the scan. And finally, the scan is complete. So let's click on this. So we can see that we have 11 critical vulnerabilities, 10 high vulnerabilities, 33 medium vulnerabilities, 11 low vulnerabilities, and 152 information disclosures. So let's click on it. Remember, we are interested in the critical vulnerabilities. So more host details, the IP address, which is our Metasploitable, the MAC address, the OS, and the start time and end time, and elapsed time is 21 minutes. So here we can change the order of the result. Here is starting with the critical. You can click on it and change it to information disclosure, and when you click again, it starts with the critical. So it's time to check some of these vulnerabilities. So I click on the first one, and this is a canonical Ubuntu Linux SEL. Description: According to its version, canonical Ubuntu Linux is this 8.04.x. It is therefore no longer maintained by the vendor or provider. Lack of support implies that no new security patch for the product will be released by the vendor. As a result, it may contain certain vulnerabilities. So this example of where lack of upgrade is responsible for this kind of vulnerability. The solution is to upgrade to a version of canonical Ubuntu Linux that is currently supported. And that is that about this. Alright, so let's go back. Let's try the second one. And this is VNC server password. The VNC server running on the remote host is secured with a weak password. Nessus was able to log in using VNC authentication and a password of password. A remote unauthenticated attacker could exploit this to take control of the system. Then it offers solution here. It says secure the VNC server with a strong password. Then this is the app. To see debug log, please visit the individual host. Here it tells us where it found the vulnerability, and on Metasploitable and on 5900 GCP port. If you want to learn how to exploit this, you can Google this from knowledge of our Google and search exploit from our previous videos, and you will learn how to exploit this particular vulnerability. So if we go back from here, let's take a look at another vulnerability, a critical one. Let's check this. SSL version 2 and 3 protocol detection. It says the range service accepts connections encrypted using SSL 2.0 and or SSL 3.0. This version of SSL are affected by several cryptographic flaws, including an insecure padding scheme with CBC ciphers, insecure section renegotiation and resumption scheme. An attacker can exploit these flaws to conduct man-in-the-middle attack or to decrypt communications between the affected service and clients. Now, although SSL TSL has a secure means for choosing the highest supported version of the protocol, so that these versions will be used only if the client or server supports nothing better. Many web browsers implement this in an unsafe way that allows an attacker to download connections such as Podo. Therefore, it is recommended that these protocols be disabled entirely. NIST has determined that SSL 3.0 is no longer acceptable for secure communication as of the date of enforcement found in PCI DSS v3.1. Any version of SSL will not meet the PCI definition of strong cryptography. Now, what's the solution here? Consult the application documentary to disable SSL 2.0 and 3.0. Use TLS 1.2 with approval cipher suit or higher instead. Alright, so this was discovered on Metasploitable as well on 225 TCP ports. Let's see a high vulnerability such as Samba Badlock vulnerabilities. The version of Samba server for Linux and Unix running on the remote host is affected by a flaw known as Badlock that exists in the Security Account Manager (SAM) and Local Security Authority domain policy. Protocols due to improper authentication level negotiation over remote procedure called RPC channels. A man-in-the-middle attack who is able to intercept the traffic between a client and a server hosting a SAM database can exploit these flaws to force a downgrade of the authentication level, which allows the execution of arbitrary Samba network calls in the context of the intercepted user, such as viewing or modifying sensitive security data in the Active Directory database or disabling critical services. Now, what is the solution? Upgrade the Samba version this or to the latest. So this was discovered on 4445 TCP port on our Metasploit table. If you also come to this side of the screen, you will see vulnerability information, exploit available false, exploit is, no known exploit available, patch publish date April 12, 2016, vulnerability pub date March 23, 2016. In the news, true. Alright, so we go back to the vulnerabilities. So let's see one information disclosure vulnerability. If you open this, then we have FTP server detection and FTP daemon detection. Let's go with this. FTP server detection. It is possible to obtain the banner of the remote FTP server by connecting to a remote port. This is the output. The remote FTP banner is this. So this was discovered on 21 TCP port of our Metasploit table. So when we go back, we check this TFTP daemon detection. The remote host is running a TFTP trivial file transfer protocol daemon. TFTP is often used by routers and diskless hosts to retrieve their configuration. It can also be used by worms to propagate. Solution: disable this server if you do not use it. This was discovered on 69 UDP port of our Metasploit table. You can see over here, this is a asset inventory. True. So this is another great tool to scan, just like Nmap. But in our upcoming videos, we shall see what more we can do with Nessus. That's all for this video, and I will see you on the next one.